if we wanted to do multiple bars? Kind of the same concept, but the way you set it up is going to be completely different. So again, let's start by going into our scene settings. And you know what we'll have to do again? We go into our built-ins, we go into our scene plugins and drag our scene data pool plugin into here. Now let's set up our scene again. So kind of set it up just like we did last time. We'll use a cylinder, and I'm going to get smart. I drug a material into my favorites so I don't have to keep hunting for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going to set it to single and my axis center to bottom here. Let's go ahead and reposition this cylinder. And we might as well go ahead and grab a font while we're at it. So we can go ahead and drag a font into there as well. Now this time, like I said, it's going to be set up a little bit different. So let's go ahead and just enter a variable in there just so we can set up this scene. What I want to do is throw these each into a group. So I'm going to say, let's call this our bars, and I'm going to throw our text into a group too, and let's call this our texts. I'm not sure that's a word, but we'll go with it. So let's just kind of realign these over here. I'm going to move this one to the left. I'm going to move this one to the left too. And what we can do is just copy these, and I'll move a cylinder here. I'll move text right there, and let's do one more. So we'll just copy this cylinder, move it to the right as well. Copy this text as well and move it to the right as well. So now we have a scene set up here basically, and we want to send data so that each one of these will receive it. So let's go into our container plugins, into the data folder, and we know that we're going to need a data text on these to receive the data. So I have 3 containers, but I have them in a group, so I can actually just drag this data text onto the topmost group. I'm just going to leave it there for the second, and we're going to actually come up into our cylinders and address these first. Now we know that we want them to scale, so I'm going to take my data scale and I'm going to drag this actually onto the group as opposed to dropping it onto each individual container. Now comes the tricky part. So we need to figure out how to do this in our naming convention. So what I'm going to do is go into the scale here. Again, in the field name, we can give it any name we want. We're just going to put this one here as bar. And this time, since we actually have these in a subcontainer here, or 3 subcontainers, what we want to do is type in some brackets here and tell it how many subcontainers. So I have 3 subcontainers. We want to tell it which format, which is on the Y, and we also need to give our text a name here. So if we just want to go back into our scale, we can take this, highlight it, Control C to copy it, and come into our field name for our data text and paste that in there as well, because we want the data or both of these plugins to receive the same data. Now we actually need to go out and send this data to it. So what we're going to do is again set this on air, and we'll use this Viz Send command module again just to demonstrate how to do this. So we know the name, which is bar, so I'm going to go ahead and type that. However, we need to tell it how many specific containers we need to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and set our brackets, and 0 is our first container, and since we have 3, it needs to be 0, 1, and 2. So I'm going to go 0 to 2, and we're going to contain that in a bracket as well. And now we're going to hit equals so we can give them each a variable. So let's go 3, 6, and 10. And we can hit send, and you can see how that affected it. Again, we need to come back into our artist and adjust our scale parameters here. So maybe we don't want our scale max to be that high. We can take this down to 10 and or 20, so you can really see how this here, as we enter different data, how it's going to affect this. And if you don't want to go back into the Viz Send to keep doing that, you can just come right into this little scene settings plugin area here and start adjusting here. So if we came in and entered 20, you can see that it's still going off the screen. That means we'd need to come back into our scale and probably readjust how these things are receiving the data as well. Kind of tough sometimes to know, because if someone else is entering the data or it's receiving the data, you never know how high this number might go or how low it might go. Obviously you need it probably to fall in from 0 to 100%, so getting this designed just the way you want will be a little bit of a, not so much of a struggle, but a challenge perhaps, because every situation could be a little bit different. But this is the way you set it up. We have 3 bars here at the field name bar. It's contained within brackets because we have 3 subcontainers. But in the scene settings, just be careful, because 0 in actuality within Viz means 1, if that makes sense.